Welcome back to the Archive Network. Aurelius here, with Malik, curators of the Conflict Archive. We left Mongol Conquests last time, but things were about to get much worse. Today we pick up where we left off. The world had no warning. One moment, the steppe was quiet. The next, a tide of horsemen thundered from the horizon. Imagine waking before dawn, the air thick with dew. You would think it a storm, but the rumble grows. Soon your city walls tremble. This was the sound of conquest, the herald of destruction.
Aurelius, you paint a vivid picture, but let's not forget the human cost. Those cities were not mere obstacles. They were homes. The scent of dew quickly turned to the stench of smoke and blood. The Mongol approach redefined terror. For many, it wasn't just about survival. It was about witnessing the end of their world.
In 1206, a nation was born on the banks of the Anan River. Genghis Khan united the tribes under one name, Mongol Conquests. His vision sparked a fire of collective ambition that spread like wildfire. Each warrior took that ambition into battle, transforming personal pride into a shared cause. It became a singular force, a wave ready to sweep across the land. This was not just about conquest. It was about forging an identity, one that would echo through history, shaping the world as we know it.
But what about the tribes he united? They weren't just tools of conquest. They were real people with deep histories and their own struggles. Genghis Khan's vision came at a steep price. Loyalty was forged in blood, and trust was hard-won. The steppe was restless, yes, but it was also alive with the echoes of lost lives, each one telling a story of sacrifice, loss, and resilience that still lingers in the wind.
His eyes fell upon the western sea, a proud kingdom with gleaming cities that sparkled under the sun. The Mongol army moved like a shadow, swift and lethal. Every village felt the tremor of the drums and the urgent calls of horns. Sleep became a distant memory as fear settled in like an unwelcome guest. This was the birth of a legend forged in chaos and bloodshed, where the ambitions of men would shape the world for generations to come.
But the Western CA weren't just sitting ducks. They had their own defenses and clever strategies in place, and they fought fiercely to protect their homes. Still, Genghis Khan's tactics were something else entirely. The Mongols came at them with a ferocity that left no room for negotiation. It wasn't just a military campaign. It was a psychological onslaught that shattered their resolve and left families torn apart. The human cost was staggering, and those stories deserve to be remembered.
When the Mongols struck, the first warning we received was an unsettling darkness. Arrows filled the sky, blotting out the sun like a swarm of locusts. In cities like Volohai, defenders were thrown into chaos, struggling to rally as the clang of iron and the screams of the fallen echoed all around. The message was unmistakable: submit or face utter annihilation. History teaches us that in their quest for power, empires show no mercy and leave devastation in their wake.
Aurelius, you make it sound inevitable. But those cities weren't just obstacles to be crushed. They were vibrant centers of culture, bustling with life, creativity, and dreams. The Mongols' approach was a brutal strategy, and it didn't just erase buildings. It wiped out entire histories and futures. Think of the families torn apart, the stories lost. The trauma inflicted on survivors was far-reaching, echoing for generations. It's a haunting reality that still lingers in the hearts of those who remember.
Word of Mongol terror spread like wildfire across the land. In the Jin dynasty, soldiers stood watch every night, eyes fixed on the horizon. The tension was thick enough to cut. Old men muttered their prayers while leaders bickered over strategy. They didn't realize that inaction was a costly mistake. Mongol scouts lurked in the shadows, learning from their hesitation. When the attack finally came, it was swift and devastating, a brutal reminder of the price of indecision.
And yet, the Jin leaders failed their people. They let fear paralyze them. While they debated endlessly in their chambers, the Mongols were out there adapting, learning and striking with brutal precision. The cost of their hesitation was incredibly high. Whole cities fell, not because their people were weak, but because their leaders were trapped in a web of indecision. Families were torn apart, and lives were lost, all while those in power couldn't make up their minds.
Outside the ruined cities, fields became graveyards, a stark reminder of what was lost. Refugees wandered aimlessly, clutching children and bundles of meager possessions. Hunger gnawed at their insides as crops failed season after season. The aftermath was bleak and unforgiving. The Mongols showed no mercy, leaving the survivors to grapple with despair and uncertainty. This is the harsh reality of conquest. Empires rise, but the cost is always borne by the innocent, and history seldom remembers their plight.
And that bleakness had lasting effects that rippled through generations. Cities like Samarkand and Merv became synonymous with slaughter, places where countless lives were cut short. The memory of those horrific massacres haunted the land and its people. As Generals Subotai and Jabe moved swiftly through the Caucasus, they left a trail of chaos and despair. The unpredictability of the Mongols paralyzed entire kingdoms, leaving communities shattered and families torn apart. It was a time of fear, where hope seemed to vanish overnight.
But the greatest danger was still to come. With every conquest, the Mongols grew hungrier for war. Genghis Khan looked out over the smoking ruins, undeterred. His ambitions were insatiable. You see, the fires of conquest had only just begun. Each victory only fueled his desire for more. The world around him was changing, yet he remained unfazed, driven by a relentless hunger. This was the nature of power, and it would only grow stronger with each new territory claimed.
That's where we leave it this time. Mongol Conquests continues. The story isn't finished yet. Find the full series on the Conflict Archive, part of the Archive Network. We'll be back with the next chapter.